Hi there, everyone, and welcome back to the Message Marketing Pod. I'm your host, Kristen Melotti from Melotti Content Media, and we have a special episode today where I have Mark Casey here from Pegasus Technology. He is a cybersecurity specialist, and he was recently in a conference with me, and he was talking about cybersecurity. And I know that a lot of businesses take this a little bit for granted with it when it comes to cybersecurity. And I work with a lot of clients in this space. And for me, I always think it's beyond just being proactive. It's more than a grudge purchase. It's an investment in protecting your business and your marketing, especially if you've got a lot of data. So that's the kind of thing that I want to discuss today. Mark, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and then we're going to talk about the implications of cybersecurity, especially in a world where marketing and data is part of the game now, and protecting our customers is part of our responsibility as a business. So, Mark, over to you. Throw in.
Yep. I'm Mark Casey from Pegasus Technology. We're an IT and cybersecurity support organization for small and medium businesses. I suppose today everyone hears about the large scale, large business
Mm,
breaches.
yes.
There's been lots and lots. The interesting thing is, of course, that now that large businesses are more secure,
Hmm.
small businesses are the target. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter whether you're 5 users, 1 user, or 100 users. Um,
Yeah.
cyber is there is the potential that you can be hacked.
Yeah, and I
Um,
think I think that's the thing, right? Is I think a lot of small to medium businesses in Australia and beyond often take this for granted, and a lot of people say it's not if, it's when, and it doesn't
yeah,
have to be a major cyber heist, right? I think that's
no,
what people. The reason why we discount it is because it doesn't. It's not like this whole like it doesn't have to be this massive, billion-dollar project or thing that goes awry. It can just be something simple as your like some of your customers' data gets exposed or leaked or some of the
yeah,
projects you're working on. And I think that's why I wanted to have you on, Mark, is because as a marketing podcast, marketing is really important and data is part of that.
yeah,
We're all every single day we're collecting data. We've got customer sensitive files and things that can't be leaked. And I know my agency is working on a lot of projects and things as well. And it's like you've got to make sure that your IT is all backed up, that you've got cybersecurity measures in place, you're scanning your computers, you're educating your team. I mean, Mark, what do you think about that?
um, I agree entirely. I mean, the thing I get from a lot of potential clients is, oh, we're in 365 or we're in Google Docs, so we're safe.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
that assumption is so flawed that it's just scary. Um, Both environments, when you buy the standard version of their licenses, don't include security.
No.
And by the way, if you buy the one that does include security, you need to actually configure it
To be
um,
be
to,
secure.
to be
Oh,
secure.
jeez.
So it just doesn't automatically secure itself.
Yeah.
Um, so from that viewpoint, um, a lot of work needs to be done, small businesses, to be secure.
Yeah. Yep. And I think
Uh,
I think it's really important for all the marketing professionals out there and just the businesses, the entrepreneurs, all of it. It's I think that it needs to be taken more seriously. It doesn't mean you have to overhaul your systems or anything like that, because people obviously will go, "Oh my gosh, that sounds like bad advice." It's not that. It's more like, like, would you agree, Mark? Some tips could be some things like training your team to spot some of those phishing emails. Like, what are the
yeah.
kind of things that businesses and teams can be more aware of?
Certainly, obviously, training is an important part.
Mm.
Um, the standard one is the multi-factor authentication.
Yeah.
As an example, I had an accounting firm that was doing my accounting. Their cloud-based data sharing service did not have two-factor authentication.
Yeah.
Um, I decided that I spoke to them and said, "Can you put it on?" And they said no. The result was
Wow.
that I have a different accounting firm um,
Mm.
because I couldn't take that risk because two things would happen. One,
Yes.
they would get breached, my
Yep.
data would be out there. Secondly, they would get breached. They would probably go bust. So I would be doing two things at once. I would be trying to find another account and trying to cope with my data being out there on the internet.
Yes.
So that was too much of a risk for me.
And you
So
see, and sorry to stop you there, Mark, but
yeah,
like this is a really important thing for everyone who's listening and watching, is that it's more than just a department in your business or a function that you get, right? Your IT security and the way that you see cyber actually affects your positioning as well. Because if you have a lackluster approach to security, that can affect the way that you market yourself in tenders and for certain like governments, for instance, they look for certain things around cybersecurity insurance and making sure that you're being proactive around
yeah,
that. But also, it's like nothing is more embarrassing than if you have IT issues and problems where you're not accommodating. Like you just said, like I can't trust this accountant because I don't feel like they're being serious about the cybersecurity. Imagine if you were that business where they were like, well, I looked at you and your competitor, you're interchangeable, except they've got a better cybersecurity posture. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean? Like, this
yep,
affects your marketing.
yep. It is. That is, in fact, the last two um, newsletters I've done
Oh, there you go.
are literally on that subject, where from because the government departments are required to meet the Essential Eight, which is a
Yeah,
government standard.
it's training center. Yeah.
So what happens is that therefore their suppliers are required to meet the Essential Eight, and their suppliers, and eventually it gets down to us, the little guys, where
Yes.
we are going to be required to meet security standards,
Yeah.
um, and that will happen.
Yeah. Oh,
And
absolutely.
the second side of that is that, as this newsletter said, was that um, you can use it as a marketing tool. So
Yes.
you change it from being a negative cost to a positive cost, in
Yeah.
that you can say, I am secure. Effectively, potentially, I have the Essential 8 level, maturity level 1, and therefore I'm secure.
Yeah.
And if you're marketing against someone else who can't say that, then that is a marketing tool.
Absolutely. And we have won at Melotti Content Media, we've won a few government contracts because we've had those systems in
Yeah,
place. And it's that has been really important for us. Like we've worked with a few bodies and that separates us. So I think that for all the marketers here and who are thinking, look, is cybersecurity something I really need to pay attention to? It's not just business continuity but it's also business reputation, business positioning, like it's all of those kind of things that we need to start waking up to cybersecurity, which is why I asked Mark to join me today, because we always talk about the basics of marketing, but what about these more advanced forms that people don't think about? Like
yeah,
Mark, you're not thinking about it as a mark. Well, you are actually your newsletters, but there's so many aspects that we need to take into account here.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Um,
what would you say was some tips for some business owners that are thinking, you know what, I've heard this by Mark. What do we do?
yeah. Um, I haven't got the link, which is a mistake on my part, but I do have a sheet that gives you 15 tips, of which I can probably you can publish later or add to the end or something maybe, that gives people that information.
Yeah.
Um,
But off the
so
top of your head, what would be some simple things? Like, I
well,
know. Yeah.
multi-factor is the obvious one.
Yeah.
Have it everywhere. Don't
Yeah.
not We're not talking where you can, which is the standard um, uh, business position. People say get multi-factor wherever you can. No, get multi-factor everywhere.
Oh,
Every account has
I
to have
use it.
multi-factor
I
authentication.
use it with everything, right? And I felt
Yes.
like it's so important to make sure, sorry, to make sure that it's so important to have that everywhere because that like little things like we've had situations where someone has tried to get access to
Mhm.
our account and we've been alerted only by the fact that the MFA has been triggered,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And so we've been, let's say LinkedIn has received a request and isn't that interesting? It's those kind of things that are yeah, it's important. So MFA,
Yeah.
so factor with the
That's one.
yeah.
Or if you're on 365, then you should be using business premium licenses.
Mhm.
And the business premium licenses then give you the ability to do conditional access. And conditional access says, I can only log in from Australia, for example. So
Right.
that if someone tries to log in from Uzbekistan or wherever,
Yep.
um, that fails
Yes.
automatically. And they can't get through that no matter whether they trick you in the MFA or not.
Yeah.
So those types of things, we all need to increase our game. It is an investment, and
Yep.
there is an investment required for
Hmm.
security.
Yep.
It's the way it is today, and it's more than just backup, password,
Hmm.
patching, and I can't remember what the fourth thing used to be, but there used to be four things you had to do. Now there are more. And the
Right.
reason there are more is because those buggers out there, excuse my language,
No.
um, are, um, are more advanced.
And they're using
We
AI
need to be
now,
more advanced. Yes,
right? And that's
exactly.
the thing. And that's like, but what about backups? That's like I know that then that's a simple one, but
Yep.
something easy.
So if you're using Google Docs, Google Workplace, or 365
Mm.
tenancy, or those sorts of things, you need to have a third-party backup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the
Absolutely.
same way when we had servers locally, we had a backup that went off-site. Okay. You
Yes.
used to take your tapes and take them off-site. You need the same thing for those tenancies because Microsoft and Google do not back your system up on an individual basis that you can use.
And that's the thing. Can I just say to everyone watching and listening right now, pay very close attention to this advice because so many businesses they use online platforms and say, "Oh, don't worry, if it ever happens, I can back it up." And the problem that they find is when they actually then it happens one day, they go there to do it and they realize that it actually isn't backed up.
Yeah.
And that's even if it's not even a hack, like it's just the fact that someone deletes something or all of that, and they go, "Oh, well, I can just restore it." I've had that happen myself, where
Yep.
one of my team, it was pure accident. They just deleted a file, and then they were like, "Oh, don't worry, there's a backup," and it took longer than we realized.
Yeah.
So I think that it's all of that as well, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it is. The other one that I've seen is that for whatever reason, Microsoft flicks the license. So it turns the license off by
Oh,
accident. And everything keeps working for 30 days because that's what Microsoft says.
that's a thing. Oh, he's just paused.
Please restore it.
Sorry, you just paused there. So you were
Okay,
saying
sorry.
no. So you were saying that Microsoft like so what is this? Is this when someone cancels their subscription or something and then it
If you happen to change the license, for example, so if
yeah
you change from one license to another because of
oh
whatever reason, not necessarily all the sub licenses get correctly transferred. And
right
if you, as I happened, the Exchange sub license did not get correctly transferred. So it was unchecked and they lost their email. And
right
Microsoft said, that's the way it works.
yikes and
So
that's
because we had third party backup, we were able to restore that
mm,
and they lost nothing.
there you go
But but you need to have it. The same thing applies on your laptop.
yes
If you're running a standalone system, you need local backup,
yes
right?
and
Whether it's a Mac or a PC or an Ubuntu box or whatever your flavor happens to be, you need to have local backup.
yep I love
Okay?
this I think this is really important
Um, so those two things are very, very important
yeah
um, because the independence part is, yes, Microsoft have their own internal backup,
yes
but
but
as you
don't
don't
depend on
use
it
it,
right
don't use it because the main thing you're trying to get is independence.
yeah
And by the way, if Microsoft happens to have a major failure and they lose a large amount of data,
yeah
who are the people they're going to restore first?
yeah well
The
yeah
big guys.
the big
So
guys.
when are you going to get your stuff back? Oh, a week down the track, maybe.
Yeah. And that's the
Um,
thing.
and,
It,
and that's where it's an issue.
and the
Uh,
reputation damage can
yeah,
be quite significant. So the point of this is you don't need to go out and absolutely revolutionize your business, but you do need to take this threat seriously.
Yeah,
And it is a part of your marketing because if you can't give your clients the confidence, that they need, then they will get nervous and
yeah,
nothing will once your reputation is out there and damaged, it's hard to fix. It's
yeah,
really hard to fix because people will go, well, obviously they haven't taken their cybersecurity seriously. So, and especially with all of Australia's privacy acts and law and data collection now, every bit of data that you have in your newsletters and all of that needs to be kept secure, and it's your responsibility, not your clients. So, if you have essential data and confidential data that you are housing under your platforms, it's really important to take cybersecurity very, very seriously.
yeah,
Mark, one thing I always say is educate your team, right? Like at the start of every month, I get onto my team and I do a quick video conference and I talk to them about the importance of looking for spam emails and looking for problems and all these kind of things. And that honestly does wonders because sometimes my team will say, "Oh, I got this email that said Chris has authorized a particular invoice or something like that." Isn't that? And
yeah,
these are just standard things that are happening
yeah,
out.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, well, I mean, other examples of that, the one I've seen lately is, um, oh, can you please change my pay account from this one to this one,
oh, that's the worst one.
right? Because it's internal. It's an internal email, supposedly, from me to you, and
Mm.
I'm saying, please change my pay account. And of course, if the guy hadn't gone, oh, Fred, did you actually want me to change your account to this? And he
Yeah,
said, no,
yeah.
they would not have picked it up.
And because everyone's
And that's
busy, right?
yeah,
Everyone's
we're all
busy, and they
busy.
just go, "Oh, this email came through from Carl. Like I just thought it was an instruction. I just did
Yep,
it." Right? And
yep,
this is the thing for everyone listening and watching. What happens is, your client, especially these cybersecurity threat actors, what they do is they can actually go in and ask you, like they say on behalf of one of your clients, they say, "Can you change my account?" So what happens is either you pay the wrong account or they pay the wrong account
yep,
and money goes missing, but it still looks like it's been done because it's gone technically like under the name of your client.
yeah,
So if you have like brand X that you pay every month, a brand X person that masquerading as them comes in and says, "Hi, we need to change our account details. We've just updated our system." No one checks. Suddenly you're paying into the wrong account and you're paying these hackers.
yep,
And it happens all the time.
yep. And what's worse now,
Yeah.
it could be a video like this.
Oh my gosh, that's
So
right.
they emulate me, and I'm saying, please change my account to this. And you say, well, I know this guy.
Yeah.
He looks right. No,
It
it's
looks
actually
right.
an AI.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it gets the first rule of thumb is always, if you see an account change request,
Yes.
ring the phone number, not off the email, ring the
Yes.
company
The
direct.
company. And that's what we've done. And there's been some legitimate cases, right?
Yeah,
But I've always said, as soon as you hear, like as soon as you see anything suspicious, report it, right?
yeah,
Let's know because it's so incredibly important.
yeah,
Any last tips that you would suggest, Mark? Like to anyone out there, again, this is for the marketers and businesses, not just taking cybersecurity seriously, but also your reputation matters.
yeah. It is a business decision.
Yeah.
So this is no longer an IT requirement. This is a business requirement.
Yeah.
So you need to look at it. You need to have a policy in place, preferably. Even small businesses, 5 users, whatever, need to
Yeah.
have a policy in place. One of the latest alerts I saw
Yes.
was that a security company called Fig Securities were
Oh,
being sued by ASIC for insufficient cyber security. That's the sum.
their own business.
Yes. So they didn't, obviously, clearly didn't do whatever. Who knows? But that was the sum total of the statement.
Right.
Now, so that means that we are being held as a business owner, and they're the people I'm trying to talk to, as a
Mm.
business owner, director, partner, whatever.
Yeah.
You are being held responsible for your cyber security.
Mm. And and that's the thing, right? And as so for all the people listening and watching, it's it's part of not just your marketing but your business,
Yeah,
right? Is your customers and your clients, their implication is that you're looking after their data, and everyone is getting data, everyone's using data, and the last thing you want is to get onto a phone call and say, I'm so sorry, that new XYZ that we're working on for you has gotten out, right? And you
yeah,
might not think, you might honestly think, oh, what's the big deal? But it is a big deal.
yeah,
Right. And your reputation, people talk, it's very important. I take at my businesses, I take it very seriously. We do a lot of
yeah,
training, we have insurance, we have a lot of systems, we're essential aid compliant, all of that, because I'm risk averse, but we shouldn't take that to get to make you that way.
yeah.
So Mark, any last thoughts and then we'll wrap.
Yeah, just be aware.
Be aware. Yep.
Be aware. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And try and think about how you're going to respond and what you need to do to make yourself more secure. And it doesn't have to replace your current environment.
No.
It can be added on to the side.
Yeah.
That's the second thing. It is not a chuck everything out and replace it. You
Yeah.
can add security onto the side of what's already there. Probably if you're using the home brand antivirus and things like that,
Yep.
um, you need to upgrade that
Yeah.
because you need to have something that will potentially do a rollback if
Wow.
if
Yeah.
you get ransomware.
Yeah.
Um, but the standard ones are not great.
Yeah.
And so you actually want a business grade antivirus, even if you're a one-man band,
Yeah.
with a business grade antivirus in there, and EDR is the next term,
Yeah.
endpoint defense and response, and it's the response that's the issue. You
Yeah.
need to be able to have it do its thing.
Love it. Well, thank you, Mark, for joining. So, Mark is from Pegasus Technology. And as I said, it is not a random cybersecurity rant. I mean, it is, but it's very important to make sure that this is more than just it's an optional extra now. It is an important business decision,
Yeah,
especially in the marketing and business space where data is such a big thing, reputation is such a big thing. We're living in a digital world and it must be taken seriously. If you say it never happened to me, that's not the defense you need to be doing.
yeah,
So,
not anymore.
so thank you so much, Mark, for your time. I really appreciate it. And please, everyone, go and subscribe to the Message Marketing Pod, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much.